It's very rare when COP is actually hosted by an Arab country, and a lot of people see the Arab countries as the blockers of all negotiations. So we thought it was really important to bring the Arab voices out, which is Arabs are more than oil. We actually quite care about climate change, and we're here to make a change. So our movement was basically launched in September, and that brought youth around from 15 different countries across the MENA region, which are the Middle East, which stands for the Middle East and North Africa. We came together to, well, a call of applications went out, and it's quite funny because a lot of people thought applications wouldn't come through. However, there was more than 500 applications for only 20 positions. So these 20 people came together in Cairo in September to launch officially the Arab Youth Climate Movement, and we sat down and had a workshop and basically brainstormed on where we wanted that movement to go and about us coming to COP. However, before coming to COP, we decided that we need to make sure everybody knew we existed before we arrived. So we organized a regional day of action, which was launched on the 10th of November, where all the countries across the MENA regions had a day of action throughout the day at the same time. And it consisted of different things in different countries. Some people had educational workshops, some people had sessions, some people had environmental theatre and art, they had street marches. So it differed from across the region, which was really nice to see because it showed the different diversity, how people actually cared from across the region.
I mean, it's a big region, a very diverse region as well.
Yes.
And obviously you have in common that, you know, Arabic speakers, Arabic nations. But at the same time, just to form an organisation like that, presumably there was a mood, there was a feeling that Arab youth needed to speak out, that they had a voice. How did that come about? I still can't get how all of a sudden, in you know, just 10 weeks ago, you formed this, what sounds like a very vibrant, all-inclusive organisation.
Basically, in previous COPs, there's never been an Arab group, well, youth group that came to represent the Arab voices. Therefore, the idea came out with from INDIACT actually, and they partnered with GCCA and Tick 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 and other different organizations. They came together and thought, well, you know, it's time to launch it. So they put out a call and got a bit of funding together and hoped that whoever applied can get together. They chose about 1 to 2 people from different countries, and then so when we arrived there, we are actually like 1 or 2 people from a country, and we had to go back to our countries and launch AYCM in its own chapter in the country, basically. So that was quite, like, for me personally, it was quite frightening because we went there and we were 2 from Bahrain and we've had nothing like this before. So it was like, what if we don't get any response from the youth? Coming from a region where climate change education doesn't really exist, or it exists in some countries but in others it doesn't. However, when we actually went out, it was just different. We had so much response, it was so overwhelming, and it was like, actually, there's so many people here, we couldn't wait for Doha. And it was just like, what, 8 weeks ago to think about it, and it's fantastic. I'm sure you've seen as you're walking around all the Arab youth, and we are going with the title of the message to our governments of Arabs, it's time to lead. So that's what we're going for, hoping our governments will pledge to cut down on greenhouse gases. Yeah.
I mean, what are the common concerns? What did you find when you went to this initial meeting? You know, what is it that worries Arab youth right across the whole region?
What worries the Arab youth is that we're already witnessing a lot of the impacts of climate change. So if we look at it from the Arabian Gulf region, the temperatures are reaching over 50 degrees in the summer, and that's not normal. I know for a fact that during my parents' times when they were my age, they were experiencing the highest of 38, 39, maximum 40. And if you think about it, this was like 20 or 30 years ago, and now things are changing at a rate that is just, you can't comprehend how fast it is, including rains. Like, I know for a fact, like in the drier areas, you get rain like maybe 2 or 3 weeks in the whole winter period, but now it's actually much often, and our countries are not equipped with the proper safe drainage system, and people are going through floods that no one knows how to deal with. So it is worrying us the way things are going, and people are not ready for this, and they're not even aware about what climate change. So if people are not aware and things continue and our countries are not doing anything, our governments are not contributing, we are the ones suffering. So in another 20 years, we will be filling the negotiation chairs, and we'll be left with a world that's so messed up. How can we fix it then? We are at a point where we can. So please, basically pledge to actually do something about it. We are waiting, we're watching, we're listening, we're hoping. So please, please pledge to cut down on our greenhouse gases. We can do it. It's realistic and it's feasible. We're not asking for unrealistic goals. What we're providing is realistic. So that is the worry of the Arab youth. It's if we don't do it now and we leave it for too late, there's no coming back, because we'll be at a stage beyond the tipping point. So,
of course, many of you come from countries which rely on oil for their prosperity, for their development.
Yes.
So you face that immediate obstacle from many governments. How do you hope to overcome that?
Yes, that is one of the main problems we're having actually in those regions, where people think, well, the Arab world or the Arab countries just look after their oil reserve. However, like as Arab youth, we look at it from this perspective. We're not asking our governments to immediately just cut it or stop it, because that's just not realistic, because a lot of people's lives basically depends on the economy we have at the moment. However, what we're saying is there are possibilities to switch towards renewable energy, like the amount of sun we get, for example, in this side of the world. We can use solar panels, we can use wind farms. That's all actually feasible. So it's kind of like a switch towards those energies. And also it hasn't, like there are some initiations that they might start it, but we don't want them to think about it. It's like, stop thinking too much, just get it done. Basically, start with the project and then another project until where our economy starts balancing, where we don't need to rely on oil for our economy. We can rely on other things, so it is possible to do.
And you're here at COP18, kind of the focus of the world to some degree is on this area, on the countries in the region, on Bahrain. What do you hope, what is the message you hope to convey? What else do you hope to get out of being at a conference like this?
We actually hope that our governments will realize that youth from their countries actually care, because that's actually lacking on our side of the world. Like even meeting our delegations at the moment, they were very shocked to find us. They're like, oh, we've never had a youth delegation come up to us before. So that's quite says something, that they've realized that we're actually watching them and we're there to help them. We're not there to be an obstacle. Actually, we're actually there to tell them, we are ready to switch, and if you do, we are there to help you. We're not blaming. We're definitely not blaming. We are encouraging them. We are telling them, please take the leap and actually pledge for it. So hopefully, I'm very positive that they will, even if it's a small step. And we would like to work with them even after COP, until the next COP, to actually draft policies that our countries can actually adopt and implement.